How she get so cold-blooded? Ain't never my business to tell. Or one single thing anyway. But shit like this, it's gonna hurt for as long as you living.
So, in Season 3 of Power, we were introduced to arguably one of the coldest characters in the history of the Power universe. She was Kanan's cousin, Laverne Ganner, nicknamed Jukebox, because when she was young, she knew all the songs on the radio and she was able to imitate anyone. But we were introduced to this character who is a dirty cop in DC. Why she moved to DC is yet to be seen, but no doubt one of the many questions they'll answer as they run through the backstory of Jukebox in Raising Kanan. But she made an instant impression and showed us she meant business when she killed Wookie in this robbery that went wrong in Season 3. It told us when Jukebox makes a plan, you stick to her plan, something which she echoed in Season 1 of Raising Kanan. When Juke and her crew were boosting clothes, we saw rape go off plan, which is where Juke stepped in and also where she learned her first lesson in a favor for a favor, because this cop returned a favor later on, which is something we'll dissect in a bit more detail when we run through her relationship with Lou and how a music career will contribute towards this cold character we saw on Power. Now, Power continued with Juke showing she was someone who could see straight through her cousin, Kanan Stark, and over the course of Raising Kanan Season 1 and 2, they are definitely leaving hints on why she could read Kanan like a book.
Shut the fuck up with all that tough guy bullshit, Kanan. I know you better than anybody.
You shook. I can see it all over you.
But arguably the biggest factor which we're going to focus on in this video is Juke telling Kanan he did what he had to do in killing Sean because he chose the enemy. Power have a history of family killing family, and it seemed like Juke understood blood doesn't necessarily make you family, loyalty does, a lesson which she learned from Rock. So as we run through Raising Kanan, we've learned Juke was hugely influenced by Raquel, events which played out from Nicole's death and having a fight with Marvin, but also given a cruel and vile lesson by Kenya. But considering Sean chose Ghost, he went from being family to the enemy, and so he turned into a pawn. But the fact Juke understood why Kanan had to kill a family member and his very own son is telling in so many ways. We talk about how Kanan said, "You ain't a real killer till you kill someone you love." And the fact that Juke understood why Kanan had to kill Sean, it does make you wonder, with this theme of family killing family, what else contributed towards Jukebox being so cold-blooded? Did she kill someone of the same blood? It's a theory I'm going to come back around to at the end of this video. Now, we can go even deeper with the Kanan and Jukebox backstory. It seemed like Juke was someone who was always protecting a young Kanan. The first thing Rock asked when a young Kanan got into his first fight was where was Jukebox. Rock knew that being a woman in a man's world, they needed to be feared, something which no doubt she would have taught a young Juke during their girly talks they used to have back in the day. And it is clear to see, early in Raising Kanan, that Juke is a lot more advanced than Kanan, and definitely at times controlling the conversation, and Juke kept this level of control over Kanan, and not many in Power did.
This way you break it twice. Once in the pocket, once in the heart. You get Ghost money, kill his kid, you ride off into the sunset.
Kanan's idea of hurting Ghost was to use Tariq as ransom, but for Juke, that wasn't enough. She wanted to inflict as much pain and suffering in Ghost. She wanted to ransom Tariq and then make Ghost watch while they killed Tariq, following it up with killing Ghost. And it was mainly because of what Ghost took from Kanan. Not only did he take 10 years, but he took Sean and Kanan's operation. It showed Juke had a complete disregard for human life, whether you were family, a soldier, or a kid. But this scene also gave us a brief history between Ghost and Jukebox.
You all out of excuses now, ain't you?
Don't do it.
You are all out of your little slick ass moves.
Now Ghost was someone who was always a chess player, slick with his moves. He had the ability to appear and disappear, just like a ghost. And for majority of Power, he was in control. But this was one of a very few times he wasn't. Jukebox was. And that's why he had this level of fear. He knew what Juke was capable of, and the fear in his eyes when Kanan told him who was holding Tariq said it all.
I love you.
Love you too, Juke.
But watching this scene in Power, after seeing how close Kanan and Jukebox were growing up, makes this scene even more emotional and just shows how savage Kanan was. Juke and Kanan grew up at the hip, but in this scene he was cold and ruthless. He grew a real soft spot for Tariq St. Patrick, and watching Raising Kanan, you can see how he and Tariq are similar in so many ways. And so as much as he loved Juke, he couldn't bear the idea of Juke killing Tariq St. Patrick, arguably the son he always wanted. But again, this continued the theme of family killing family, and it does make you ask the question, we've all seen the close bond and love Juke and Kanan have for each other in Raising Kanan, so what changed? Of course, there is a Tariq St. Patrick element, but did anything else happen in the past? For example, Corny Kemp a while back made reference to a backstory of how Kanan got his scar on his neck, and it was in a fight with Jukebox when they were young, something we're yet to see, but also we're unsure whether they'll run with this specific story or write something new. But how can someone pull the trigger on someone they loved? But it does come back round to how you ain't a real killer till you kill someone you love. But ironically a trait which in season 2, episode 2, Jukebox told Kanan to never lose, this caring side. But it was this caring side which contributed to Kanan killing Juke because he cared about Tariq, and also Kanan's own downfall, which really is quite poetic, but very much a deliberate Easter egg left in Raising Kanan. Now, the history surrounding Jukebox becomes even more interesting when you factor in Ghost and Tommy. We briefly went through the fear Ghost had when it came to Ghost learning it was Jukebox holding Tariq, but Juke knew Ghost when they were kids. She described him as someone who always had his head in his books, but vicious with a piece, and so it's going to be interesting to see the dynamics change if and when Ghost and Tommy are introduced, because it really will change the dynamics. But if we've got Tom Egan saying this about Juke, then we're in for some even more darker moments than what we just witnessed with Kenya.
And remember Jukebox?
Yeah, that fucking crazy bitch.
That one. She kidnapped him. So Kanan fucking shoots her to save Tariq's life.
Now imagine a world where Tommy Egan calls you a crazy bitch. How crazy must you have been for Tommy to call you crazy? Just think about it. But this does bring me on to one of the elements that contributed towards Juke turning cold-blooded, her sexuality. Now, there are many questions surrounding how did Kenya even know Juke was gay, but she was able to tell from the moment she met Juke, from the way she dressed and the mannerisms, which is why she saw Kenya trying to convert Juke, not just through the shopping trips, but Corey was most likely set up by Kenya, and so was this lesson in church. It's no coincidence they went through Leviticus 18, which runs through sins such as not having sexual relations with both mother and daughter, but also of the same sex, and many others. So they were definitely deliberate moves made by Kenya to try and turn Juke, and having her beat with a wooden spoon while making her watch what they believed to be sinful acts on TV, which really was vile treatment Juke didn't deserve, but a move which ironically had Juke scream out and call Marvin dad for the first time.
I was fine without you. I don't need you. I never needed you.
Kenya was trying to turn Juke into something she wasn't. But the only person who we've seen able to bring out the Laverne in Jukebox was Nicole, a death which till this day still hurts, and a death which also took a piece of Laverne. And every single one of these moments is killing a piece of Laverne, until there's only this cold-blooded Jukebox left. The same could also be said about her music career. Lou was the only person who believed in Juke and got her the opportunity to sing at the showcase. So they share this love for music, which is why they got on so well. But a move made behind Juke's back to give her song to Ziza, which was dedicated to Nicole, really was the game changer. We haven't seen Juke back in the studio since, but I don't think it's over just yet. There's going to be something else which contributes to her changing directions, where she then becomes a cop. But no doubt, her talking to Tariq about her music career hurt. She knew she was someone who was more than just good, she was great. So let's just see what the real reason is for why Juke became a cop, and Detective Beck may be one of many reasons. But back to Kenya, Rock warned Marvin that if he ever puts hands on Juke again, then she'll kill him herself. So what do you think's gonna happen when she hears Kenya let those at the church hurt Juke? Palomar's someone who felt the wrath of Rock, but she was lucky it was only a warning shot, but Kenya may not be so lucky. So it brings me to Jukebox's first kill theory. Are we confident that Kenya will stay away from Juke? And what will Rock make of Kenya allowing this vile treatment of someone she considers a daughter? I really wouldn't be surprised if Rock wants blood, but also indirectly causing Juke to snap, which makes her do it herself, because Rock is a master of making others do her dirty work, one of the principles from the 48 Laws of Power. She did it with Kanan and Howard. She's manipulating Cartier, and Kenya's someone who she may want out the way. But could Juke really pull the trigger? As I mentioned at the beginning, Juke is someone who's far more advanced than Kanan Stark, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see Juke get her first kill before Kanan. Even though Kanan did shoot Buck 20, it was never confirmed who actually killed him, with D-Ways claiming the kill, but it also does stick with the theme of family killing family. So with that being said, the character of Jukebox was shaped by many events in Power, but many questions remain unanswered. Why did Juke move to DC and change his surname to Ganner? Could the fact Rock possibly may be branching into DC play a part? But what also pushed her into becoming a cop? And although we saw the death of Nicole and Lou giving Ziza Juke's song, what else happened which stopped her from pursuing her music career? I'll leave Raising Kanan to answer those questions, so consider this the end of part 1 of the history of Jukebox.
'Cause underneath the armor